Hey yo, welcome back, Cowboys Connect family. It's your guy Ray, my tag team partner.
AJ Russ, also known as Swaggy Russ, yes sir.
There we go. We
Yeah.
back at it again with another video for you. Last week, Cowboys won 17-7 versus the Seattle Seahawks. But this week, we want to get you ready for this preseason game against the Arizona Cardinals and why these players have the clock ticking on them right now. And that clock is starting to run out. No further ado, let's get into it. Okay, hyped up off that intro. Back at it again, Ray and that guy Swaggy Russ. Swag, we getting ready for our second preseason game of the season. Hopefully, we can get another W with this. There's a lot of things we need to look forward to, and let's talk about some of these people. I don't know, the clock is running out on
Yeah.
some of these guys right here, but let's start it off like this. Some things we're looking forward to going into this second preseason game. We're gonna break it down by different groups. The first thing I know I'm really excited about,
Mm.
Jay Sean Barham. Get to
Yeah.
see him in some action. He was sidelined with that groin injury, so we get to see what he can do for Dallas and see how what his role is going to be carved up like now on this roster. Because not only do we have him, you know, at the linebacker position, we also have Overshown.
Yeah.
We also have
Big
D.
one,
Winters
too.
we traded for. So how is he going to be able to fit in his mix? Let's talk to it, people. Swag.
Yeah, no, he's a stone faced killer, like he's all about football for sure. He does not be smiling like he's ready to play football and hunt. So I'm excited, especially about the camp that he had before a little growing injury. But thank God he's able to, be on show some tape in preseason. It's gonna be cool to see him, of course. Probably play a few series. I don't think too much. I
Yeah,
mean, obviously third round pick, but he's gonna
yeah,
end up being integral to what you want to do with your defense on a second level. So yeah, no, I'm excited to see how hard of a player he plays because I mean you saw that at Michigan, at Maryland
yeah,
as well too. Like, I mean, he's a guy that can stop the run as well. I mean, he's been a hybrid player in terms of playing at
yeah,
the edge, but
yeah,
also
yeah,
being an inside linebacker in this game. So yeah,
yeah.
I'm excited to see him play finally and really be a really focal point of this defense. I mean, especially with the preseason, but also what he does in the regular season eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. He took the words right out of my mouth because he was kind of mainly an outside linebacker up at Michigan, and said Shotty came out like, "Nah, we're gonna play him at Mike." And so he's gonna be at Mike, and I'm excited. That dude look like he's all business,
Yeah.
all business. So while we're on Barshan, let's go ahead and talk about that linebacker room since we're already on
Mhm.
on the subject. It's interesting. One name we have not heard a lot about this offseason, Shamar James.
Yeah.
I believe Shamar James he led our team in tackles last year, with like
Yeah.
80 something, but it was kind of like garbage time. You know how you get those
Right.
garbage time
Yeah.
minutes
You're trailing them.
in
Yeah.
like basketball and
Exactly.
stuff. It was like that.
Exactly.
So I'm kind of curious to what his situation is. Is he going to even make the roster again this season? What if a guy like a Justin Barron
Yeah.
improves and
Talk
earn
about
meaningful minutes because we saw the one practice they said had three interceptions and that scrimmage I believe against the Rams. They say
right.
oh
Joint
it
practice.
was like his coming out party. Um,
Right.
so if he's able to stack, add special teams value as well, that could force Shamar James off of this roster. So that's a very interesting to look out to and see because last we saw guys like was Curtis Robinson play a lot at
Yeah.
linebacker. Who else did we see at linebacker? Justin Barron I think played at linebacker. Um,
Of course, Shamar.
you said what?
Who else? I said, of course, Shamar, and
Shamar?
then
Yeah, yeah,
besides Sanborn and Murray, I mean, shit.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So let's go through the rest of the things we're looking at. So one of the key things we
Okay.
also need to look at too is who's going to be QB2, right? Which is a
Mhm.
very important position on this team. Last week, our guy Sam Howell he started.
Yeah.
This
Mhm.
week, the rumor is it's supposed to be Joe Milton's going to get the start
Right.
this game. So we'll see if that pans out to be. I wonder if it's going to be like a 50-50 split like they did last
Right.
week and see who's going to
Right.
get the upper hand because I think both of those guys played well. Both had
Mhm.
scoring drives last week, so that's going to be really interesting. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a good way to do things. Obviously, having House start last week and then having Milton start this week just to continue to evaluate and see what they do. I mean, like you said, they played well and within the system as well, too. And it was just signs of a coherent offense. So, I mean, they were able to manage everything, too. I just would love to see, I mean, I guess one guy, stand out throughout the others. I mean, obviously, like from a talent standpoint, Joe Milton has it, especially his rocket arm, too. But you just want to continue for him to be consistent and take strides, similarly to what he did last week. And I mean, Sam Howell, he's been a guy that started the 2023 season, the entirety of it for the Washington Commanders, even though they weren't great, but he like was one of the highest passing yard leaders in the league that year too. So yeah. I mean, just for me, just one of those guys, just be consistent. I mean, Lord willing, this is the most that they'll play this year in the preseason for sure, God willing. But you just want to have some insurance and have also a guy, I mean, that knows, what they're doing in the room as well too, because I mean the quarterback room, even though you're not playing and stuff as well too, I mean you still matter, your voice still matters, and I mean feeding and learning off of Dak. So yeah, but I would love to see one of those guys separate, and then also for the offensive line, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more in detail in a second. Keep them clean, but also just have some more consistency, man. Because I mean, we have our solidified six, obviously. Tyler Smith. We're all the big three: Tyler Smith, Guyton, and Tyler Booker. You have Cooper Beebe, Terrence Steele. TJ Bass, who's solid, but man, Terrence Steele, man. We'll talk about that more. But
Yeah, we talk about it.
him, and then like, there's not a lot of security at the tackle position as well. Too. You talking about Drew Shelton, who you drafted. You talk about Nate Thomas, who hasn't been looking good. Like, I'm sure you saw that clip as well too. How Donovan Ezraku absolutely made him touch earth easily, just doing a simple swim move. Like, what are we talking about? So that could be something that needs to be explored at some point. Just regardless, like, I mean, try to get Taylor Decker. That would be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to see, like, from a quarterback perspective, them just continue to play well within the system, and for the O-line to protect them adequately, man.
Yeah. That's a big question mark. We'll go ahead and talk about offensive line. While we're on it, I think the Cowboys are. I personally think they're trying to replace Terrence Steele. I think it's like, Ooh, Jesus. They're gonna be running a lot of 12 personnel. They gotta help him at this point. BSF, Reverend Spanford, get ready. It's gonna be a long season for you. I'm joking. If they don't get
to me, bro, it's crazy because he's going to his 7th year, but like, how are you regressing now? Like, we already knew that you were the weak link of the offensive line, and now you got even worse. I mean, the defense is gonna be better. So I mean, of course, maybe you might lose some reps, but it shouldn't look this bad,
Yeah. So I definitely think the Cowboys, they're still saying they're not done. Yeah, I think everyone was thinking, like, conversation I had with Zach Wilchuk on the Attack on Media Network. We talked about maybe them trading for running back. I think they still may need to add something to that room, but if I'm the number one thing I think I want to add is another offensive lineman. I just want that, just be able to just breathe easier, because I feel like there's so much stuff we're worried about now with Terrence Steele, and it's god awful. Like, it's starting to get bad. It is starting to get bad. So that's one of the things we need to look for also into this game. Let's look at this depth, see if anybody on that offensive line can step up, can stack some of these games, stack the practices to, I don't know, maybe contribute somehow. But right now, that definitely ain't looking that good. So while we're talking about offensive, or we're still on the offensive side of the ball, running back. That's another thing I'll be looking for. Jadon Blue didn't have that great of a game. Phil Moffitt didn't have that great of a game. And he got injured too in the game. Right. Malik Davis, he just showed us up and continues to make plays. Currently, I think Malik Davis should be RB2 right now. That's my personal opinion. What are your thoughts on the running back?
Nah, I agree, bro. Like, we gotta stop treating him like a side chick or whatever. Like, bro, like, he's been consistent. I understand, like, you have the intrigue of Jadon Blue. Like, he's a guy that's 22 and young and stuff like that as well. But I mean, Malik Davis, he's been consistent with the starters, but also I mean, you see him playing in the preseason with obviously the backups. He's still separating himself, even despite the nonsense at the offensive line position. So I mean, that shows, if anything, like, regardless of the O-line, you're still able to be a playmaker. I think you need to continue to build off of that. So until Jadon Blue can separate himself, and then, like you said about Phil Moffitt, him getting hurt, that doesn't help him in terms of the conversation as well too. I would continue to Malik Davis, Javonte Williams. Let's ride it, man. I mean, we want to play the best players who's going to be the most productive and help lead this team to winning. It's not about politics or anything like that. We want to win. So that's simply what it is. So Malik Davis, keep hooping, bro.
Keep doing it. I mean, I like what he's done. Ever since we got a lot of that time at the end of last season, he's taking most of his opportunity. So hopefully, he keep expanding upon it. All right. So we know the darling in last week's game, Mr. Camden Brown. That was everybody's darling last year. He showed up and showed out. I think he's a lock to make this roster now. I really think he is,
Yeah.
but I still want to see, can he stack up on it? Can he, when now more attention is probably going to be brought to him in this game because
Yep.
of what he did last week. What is he going to be able to do with that? Um, like I said, I think he's a lock. Another person that's still fighting for a wide receiver position, and I think he could, and I think it could force the Cowboys to go 6 at wide receiver. Jonathan Mingo. Jonathan Mingo
Yeah.
is starting to, stick out according to coaches and different people that are watching him. Because also he brings the ability to be able to block in a run game as a receiver. That's a good attribute from him. And I think they said he had him playing on special teams. He was making some special teams
Right.
play. So
Yeah.
with that could open up a position for him. What do you think about those two guys?
Yeah, I agree. So talking about Camden Brown first, since you mentioned him first, I'm intrigued to see like going into preseason game number 2 because I mean I'm sure his performance kind of put like DC's on watch and saying, hey, this could be another guy for Dallas. So I get, and obviously he wouldn't be in his position in terms of because he's gonna play with CD, playing with GB, playing with Flo, so he wouldn't be like the number one target. But I guess like going against these backups and guys like that as well too, you want to see how he adjusts and like we said before recording the video, continue to
Yeah,
stack games.
yeah,
So that'll be something to watch for. But like you said, I think that he's solidified for the roster. He's
yeah,
been consistent in practice as well too. It's not just one game. Like he's
yeah.
been consistent throughout the entirety of camp. But also for Mingo, I mean, we joked about it before talking about that trade that happened in the 2024 season, trading him for a fourth. Whatever that was, but he is a guy. I mean, he has real talent. Like you said, he can block and be physical. I mean, last year was kind of weird. Like he would have games like he would basically be like Jalen Tolbert and not be dressing out and stuff too, even when he returned back from injury. But he provides. I mean, if he's your wide receiver 4 or 5, I think that's a really great thing for you because he can be another guy, like you said, can be physical in a blocking perspective, but also he's a guy that's a bigger receiver who can win.
Yeah.
Being playing an X receiver position. So I mean, I don't think it will hurt. He just needs to continue to be consistent, and if he has what's called special teams ability,
Mhm.
I mean that just makes him more versatile. So I think that's a great thing for him to do. But yeah, for those guys, I would love to see them be potentially wide receivers. It will be 5 or 6 because I mean Turp is going to be wide receiver 4. So.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Let's talk about these tight ends real quick. Michael Trigg had a nice little game. Everyone's been talking about Michael Trigg all off season, especially now in training camp. Had a good game. I think if he
Yeah.
has another good game, I think that forces Schoonmaker off this roster. I can't warrant keeping him when he's had 3 years already. We've got little to nothing from him. So that's another thing that I'm looking forward to, far as that tight end room. Because right now, it's for sure Jake Berg and Brevin Spanford for sure. Those are locks. And also, people forget Hunter Lipke could probably play a little bit tight end if you really need to play tight end as well
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
I think that's in their thought as well too. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Shun is what he is, and he's a guy that was drafted in the second round, I believe, in the 23 draft. Like a lot of people
Terrible
continue to,
draft.
bring that up.
That's a
I know, that's
terrible
what I'm saying.
draft, bro. Other than
Overall, I mean, he's
Overshown,
Yeah,
who else was in
that's
it?
what I was saying.
Yeah, I think
That's
that
what I was
was
Mozzie first round. Yeah.
Schoon second.
Yeah, that wasn't the greatest, and that you can make the argument too. That was one of the drafts that led to the defense being held back another year because
Yeah.
I mean all those when you miss on draft picks, man, it sets you back for sure. So I mean
Yeah.
we saw a result of that. So thank God we have the right culture and now from
Yeah.
a defensive standpoint as well too to further that. But now like Shun, he is what he is, man.
Yeah.
If you can upgrade a tight end 3, you have to do that immediately. And I
Yeah.
believe that Michael Trigg, he has a high upside. Not I mean from a receiving perspective as well too, but just continue to see him be consistent blocking wise.
Yeah.
I think that he's going to continue to, get in the lab with Luna Wells, the tight end coach as well too, just to continue to, be that guy,
Yeah.
that can be under BV Rivers Fan 4 and also under Jake Ferguson. So yeah, I think that he has a clear path to making the roster. If Shun makes the roster again, I just think that they are more comfortable or whatever, I guess. But I just don't see it because I mean he doesn't have a high ceiling. Like man, at this point, like you know what I'm saying. And I believe he's older too when he's drafted. So I mean, dude has to be like almost 28 or something like that. So,
Yeah.
I think that Trigg, Trigg, he has a clear path. And he has a great rest of the preseason. I think that he's going to be in lockstep to be tight end number 3.
Yeah. All right, we done talked about the offensive side of the ball. Let's get to this defensive side of the ball. You got a lot of question marks still. Like I said, we just turned over this whole defense, defensive staff, defensive players. Everything on that side of the ball. We've talked about this. Von Miller now being added in Dallas. That's gonna put pressure on some of these guys. And like I said, clock's ticking on some of those guys in their room because you added one more person to their room. Now, guys like Sam Williams, all right, man, you got to step it up now if you want to stay on this roster. Maris Leofow, who they converted over to be an outside linebacker edge.
Mhm.
All right, buddy, you got to step it up too. Granted, Maris has like the special teams ability that he brings to the table.
Right.
Also, if they
Mhm.
need be, they can switch him back to, off ball linebacker if they really needed to. So you
Yep.
got you got flex with Maris Leofold if you decide to
Mhm.
keep him. Um, then you still got your guys like your Isaiah Lands. Then you also
Mhm.
have who else is another guy in that room? I can't think right now, but those guys, Tyrus
Very
Wheat,
interesting.
Tyrus Wheat. Those guys are your
Mhm.
fringe on the bubble guys right
Yeah.
now in
Yeah.
that pass rush room. So it can one of those guys earn a roster spot
Mhm.
on his team. What do you think? What do you talk about the pass rush room?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's a good problem to have now at this point. But with Maris, it's funny that you said that because immediately when you said talking about him getting switched position, I was like, I mean, I think Duke could still play inside linebacker because you saw in his rookie year under Mike Zimmer, he had a lot of great moments too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just last year, Matt Eberflus, him being a pretty shite coach, putting in his own stuff and having his guys, yeah, like he fell behind favor there. But like you said, he has special teams ability, so
yeah,
that would be nice to hear. I think Maris. I think he should be as long as he continues to remain consistent and play well
yeah.
in the preseason and dominate. That he'll be fine. Like you said about Land though, we'll see. I mean, not everyone can make the roster. That's an unfortunate
Exactly,
thing. So
exactly.
you want to be able to flash. I mean, that's the thing about that. And Sam Williams, man, too. A lot of people wanted him gone after last season, but he ended up signing, a little 1 year prove it deal.
Yeah,
We'll see what really happens with him. I mean, because he's a guy I really think that missing the 2024 season that really hurt him,
yeah,
and like he had penalties problems beforehand and stuff like that as well too. So, but it sucks for him. But I mean, he's gonna have to step up as well too, because he was a guy that was drafted, I believe, in the second round back in 2022. I mean,
yeah.
like he had that potential and talent. So we'll see. But those are some guys that I'm definitely monitoring throughout the preseason game tomorrow and ultimately the final one against the Saints. But yeah, that edge room, I mean, like we talked about before, you have ways of pass rushing
Yeah,
bodies there. That just helps your overall unit be better and more versatile.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, and let's talk about this last little group. Let's talk about these defensive backs.
Hmm.
Kalen Carson had a terrible game, in my opinion. It was
Yeah.
horrific.
Not fast.
3 penalties, unacceptable, right?
Mhm.
So that's a guy
Mhm.
that's on the verge, right? And also, there's been those rumors that the Cowboys are looking to add depth to that room. Hell, even the other day, there's like, oh, should the Cowboys trade for Joey Porter Jr.? That's been floated out there. They were talking about Cowboys signing a Dory Jackson possibility. So they want to add something. I think they still want to add a little bit more to that room. I think
Right.
they're happy with your top three, but
Hmm.
injuries. You got to be
Yeah.
prepared because injuries happen, especially with someone like a Deron Bland who hasn't been healthy for quite some time. So that will eat through your depth if a guy like him is not healthy. So you're really heavily relying on Savon Ravel and Kobe Durant. Then after that, who do you have? Really, you really don't have anyone. Does that make a way for Josh Butler to get his way on his roster from the play
Mm.
that from Kalen Carson? So I think they're gonna try to find something to add to that room as well too, because y'all gotta remember once the Cowboys cut down the rosters, they always go find someone from another team that may get cut or some things like that can happen. But that's definitely a position you gotta ask. You have some question marks with, especially. I think this is a year they go heavy at safety, because they got some guys in that room. I know they don't want to get rid of. Like,
Yeah.
who your top four are between
Hmm.
Caleb, Jalen
Jalen
Thompson,
Thomas.
PJ Locke, Malik Hooker. Then you got a
Right.
guys like Elijah Clark that
Hmm.
shows something. Then Woods, Julius
Yeah.
Woods. You know what I'm saying?
Jason.
So
Yeah.
that's six safeties right there. If you want to carry all those guys, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be a battle for them DBs.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then like talking about the corners a little bit more, I'm excited to see Devin Moore play as well too. I think it'll be a great op for him to
Yeah,
go against the Arizona Cardinals in this upcoming game too. But also, like you mentioned, a guy like Josh Butler, like he's been a fan favorite since past couple of years ago. But of course, though that ACL tear and stuff too,
yeah,
you want to see him, but show some stuff to be on the team because. I mean, like you said, there's carrying so many safeties that I mean, the amount of defensive backs that you got to make sure that they're guys that can play and not get targeted and get picked on the entire time.
yeah,
So yeah, he's someone to monitor as well too. I think, but yeah, like you said, like Joey Porter Jr. That would be awesome, but I'm pretty sure you have to send like a second or something like that. So I mean, are you
yeah,
really willing to do that? I don't know, but yeah, like I mean, they're continuing to get better, and like it really just helped that your DC is a specialist in terms of the secondary, but he
yeah,
knows what his overall defense,
yeah,
what they want to be married together and look like. So Yeah, but nah, like that's definitely something to look at. Like you talked about Kalen Carson, man. Like those couple of penalties, man. Like I feel like if he got another penalty next game, like he might end up being in a
Yeah,
suspension
bro,
hold
he out of here, bro. I
this
think you.
upcoming week. You know,
We
like
saw what
and
happened
it's
with Trayshawn, right?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. And cut down day is soon. So I mean, shoot, they're gonna have to cut a lot of people. So I mean, you
yeah,
making mistakes, like that's one of the things that Shotty talked about. Like he's trying to eliminate the turnover margin, penalties, stuff like that as well too. Things that are gonna cost you in the most important game. So if you're not locked in and playing discipline, bye bye. Go to
yeah, yeah,
Jacksonville. So
yeah. Yeah, man. All
pretty
right, man. We
much.
want y'all to comment below. What are y'all looking for to seeing in this preseason game against the Arizona Cardinals? Who do you think time is ticking for as on this roster, or someone you think that shouldn't be on this roster? Comment below. And make sure you like and subscribing to us to all of our personal channels. Also, Attack on Media Network, and yeah, keep following us on this Cowboys Connect channel. We're growing that thing. As always, I'm Ray, my tag team partner AJ Russ, Swaggy Russ. Just remember this: you're beautiful, you're loved, and you're needed. How about them Cowboys? And here we go. Let us ride out to that intro. Yeah, we out. Okay.